Preston Vale had tried everything. Behavioral specialists from Stanford, nannies from elite agencies, even a family therapist who charged $2,000 an hour. But none of them could reach his 7-year-old autistic son, Eli. Until the day Maya Williams, a Mexican immigrant woman who came just to clean, entered the child's room. In Atlanta's prestigious Buckhead neighborhood, the magnificent Vale mansion rose majestically. White marble columns, crystal chandeliers, and manicured gardens. Preston Vale's $15 million home looked perfect from the outside. But inside, there was silence. Heavy, painful silence. Preston Vale, 42, was one of the most successful CEOs in the tech industry. Founder of Vale Technologies, featured on Forbes' richest 100 list, Wall Street's golden boy. A tall man with dark hair, always impeccably dressed in suits, but deep in his gray eyes there was pain that money couldn't solve. His wife Emma had died of cancer 3 years ago. Since that day, his 7-year-old son Eli hadn't spoken a word, not a single word. Diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, Eli had withdrawn into his own world, making no eye contact, allowing no touch, just silently arranging his toys in the corner. Preston had tried everything to reach his son, spending millions. Dr. Harrison, the famous child psychiatrist from Stanford, Mrs. Wellington, the British nanny who worked for elite families, Sarah Chen, a behavioral therapist specializing in autism. They all came, all gave hope, all failed. Eli still wasn't speaking, still wouldn't allow touch, still couldn't look into his father's eyes. That Monday morning, Preston was reading the latest nanny's resignation letter in his office. Mrs. Patterson had given up after 3 weeks. "I'm sorry, Mr. Vale, but I can't connect with Eli. Perhaps someone else." Preston threw the letter on his desk. How many resignation letters was this? He'd stopped counting. He picked up the phone and called his assistant. "Jennifer, we need to find a new nanny agency. Let's try a different place this time." "Sir, we could try Highland Nanny Services. They're very selective." "Fine. Call them immediately. Also, I want to change the cleaning crew. There are too many people in the house. Eli gets uncomfortable." "Of course, sir. I'll arrange a smaller team." 3 days later, on Wednesday morning, Maya Williams stood at the door of the Vale mansion. She was 28 years old, 5 feet 4 inches tall, with dark skin and long black hair, of Mexican descent. Simply dressed in clean but inexpensive clothes. She carried a small cleaning bag and had a shy but determined expression on her face. Maya had come to Atlanta 5 years ago from Guadalajara, immigrating to provide a better life for her family. Her English was fluent, but with a slight accent. She worked cleaning various houses and attended nursing school in the evenings. But Maya's story had a painful chapter that others didn't know about. Her little brother Diego had also been autistic. Since age 16, Maya had taken care of Diego. She understood his silence, his reactions, his tantrums very well. Diego had died in a car accident 3 years ago. Since then, Maya had developed a special interest in working with autistic children. Mrs. Henderson, the house's elderly manager, opened the door. "You must be Maya Williams. I should tell you this house is very quiet. Mr. Vale's son has a special condition. Be careful not to make noise." Maya nodded. "I understand. I'll work quietly. You'll be cleaning the east wing. Don't go up to the 3rd floor. The boys' room is there. No one goes up there. Mr. Vale is very strict about this." As Maya moved through the house, she was amazed by the mansion's size, but she noticed something else. Despite all its luxury, this house was very cold. The walls were white, the furniture was harsh, there was no sound of children anywhere. After working quietly for 2 hours, suddenly a sound came from the 3rd floor. A very loud, very painful scream. Maya dropped her cloth, her breath catching. She knew this sound. Diego used to scream like this too. In panic, desperately, in pain that no one could understand. The sound continued. Maya stood at the bottom of the stairs. Mrs. Henderson had said not to go up to the 3rd floor. But that scream was calling for help. Maya climbed the stairs. The 3rd floor was completely different. This was the children's floor. Colorful carpets, toy boxes, but still silence. The scream was coming from the room at the end. Maya slowly opened the door. In the middle of the room sat a small 7-year-old child. Eli Vale. Blonde hair, white skin, his father's gray eyes. But those eyes held fear, panic. The child had thrown the Lego pieces in front of him on the floor and was rocking back and forth. Maya stood at the door. She didn't approach the child. She just sat down, on the floor, at a distance. Hola, pequeño, she said quietly. Soy Maya. Eli didn't look at her, but he stopped screaming. Maya took something small from her bag. Diego's toy, a small music box. It played a very soft, very calm melody. Eli raised his head. For the first time, Maya smiled. ¿Te gusta la música? Eli didn't answer, but he was listening. Maya sat there for 10 minutes. She didn't say anything. She just played the melody and waited. Then she slowly got up and left the room. The next day, Maya came again. Again, she went up to the 3rd floor. Eli was sitting in the same place again. This time, he wasn't screaming. Maya sat on the floor again, played the music box again. The 3rd day, he moved closer to Maya. Not very close, but closer. The 4th day, he began to show interest in the colored pencils Maya brought. The 5th day, when Maya drew, Eli tried to draw too. The 6th day, he held Maya's hand. Just for 3 seconds. But he held it. Preston Vale hadn't noticed this change in the house. He was too busy, too distracted. But Mrs. Henderson had noticed. Mr. Vale, she said that evening, I need to tell you something. The new cleaning lady. She's going up to Eli's room. Preston stopped in his office. What? I told her not to go up to the 3rd floor. Yes, sir, but Eli isn't screaming anymore. He's quiet. Preston frowned. Eli was always quiet anyway. What do you mean? I mean, he seems calmer, more happy. When Preston heard this word, he was surprised. Eli. Happy. The next day, Preston came home early. He went up to the 3rd floor and stood at Eli's room door. Sounds were coming from inside, not Eli's voice, but sounds. Someone talking, a soft, calm voice. He slowly opened the door. Maya was sitting on the floor, reading a book to Eli. In Spanish. Eli was sitting next to her, looking at the pictures in the book. Y el pequeño conejo encontró su casa, Maya finished. Eli looked at Maya, directly into her eyes, for the first time. Then, a very small, very quiet smile. Preston froze at the door. His son was smiling, for the first time in 3 years. Excuse me, Preston said. What are you doing here? Maya immediately stood up. I'm sorry, Mr. Vale, I told you not to go up to the 3rd floor. Yes, I know. But your child was screaming. So you what? Maya hesitated. I encountered a similar situation. My brother was also autistic. Preston was surprised. Your brother? Yes, Diego. He used to scream like this too. When he was scared. When things happened that he didn't understand. Preston looked at Eli. The child didn't want to leave Maya's side. How did you calm him down? Maya answered carefully. Patience, understanding, and speaking his language. His language? Yes, not words, but feelings. Eli was feeling fear. I tried to make him feel safe. Preston thought for a long time. What do you do? Besides cleaning? I'm studying nursing, pediatric nursing. Why? Maya thought of Diego. Because children, especially those with special needs, need not just medical care, but love too. Preston looked at Maya. This woman had done what expensive specialists with diplomas couldn't do. She had made his son smile. Maya, he said slowly, I want to make you an offer. Maya was surprised. Sir, would you be Eli's nanny? Maya answered without thinking. Yes, but the transition wasn't easy. The next week, Preston called his lawyer to arrange Maya's employment contract. He also contacted Dr. Harrison to inform him about the change. Mr. Vale, Doctor. Harrison said during their phone call, I must advise caution. This woman has no formal training in autism therapy. What if she causes regression? Preston watched through his office window as Maya played with Eli in the garden. The child was laughing, actually laughing. Doctor, with respect, your formal training didn't make him laugh once in 6 months. But Mr. Vale, the decision is made. Maya stays. Meanwhile, Maya was discovering just how complex Eli's world was. She learned that he had specific routines that couldn't be broken. His toys had to be arranged in a particular order. He would only eat from his blue plate. Loud noises sent him into meltdowns that could last hours. But Maya also discovered his gifts. Eli had an incredible memory for music. He could remember entire melodies after hearing them just once. He was also remarkably skilled at puzzles, able to complete 100-piece puzzles in minutes. One evening, as Maya was organizing Eli's room, she found Emma's old journal hidden in a drawer. With Preston's permission, she read it. Day 847 since diagnosis, one entry read. Eli won't look at me anymore. I sing to him like I used to, but he turns away. I feel like I'm losing him piece by piece. The specialists say to be patient, but how patient can a mother be when her child seems to forget she exists? Maya felt tears in her eyes. She understood Emma's pain, but she also understood something else. Eli hadn't forgotten his mother. He had simply learned to protect himself from more loss. That night, Maya had an idea. She found one of Emma's old lullabies on her phone and played it softly in Eli's room. The child stopped what he was doing and listened intently. "Mama," he whispered. It was so quiet, Maya almost missed it. "Yes, pequeño," Maya said gently. "Mama loved you very much." Eli walked to his dresser and pulled out a small photo of Emma. He handed it to Maya. "Mama, gone." Maya knelt down to his level. "Mama is gone from here," she said, pointing to the room. "But she's still here," she pointed to Eli's heart. "Forever." As weeks passed, Maya began to understand the deeper layers of Eli's condition. She noticed that he had an unusual sensitivity to certain textures and colors. Rough fabrics would make him uncomfortable, but soft materials like silk or cotton calmed him. Bright lights bothered him, but he loved the warm glow of candles. She also discovered that Eli had an extraordinary talent for pattern recognition. He could organize his toys in complex mathematical sequences without any formal training. When Maya showed this to Preston, he was amazed. His mother was a mathematician, Preston said quietly. She always said Eli inherited her logical mind. Maya began incorporating these discoveries into Eli's daily routine. She created a sensory-friendly environment in his room with soft lighting, comfortable textures, and organized spaces that appealed to his need for order. But perhaps most importantly, Maya began to decode Eli's nonverbal communication. She learned that when he flapped his hands, he was excited, not distressed. When he lined up his toys in a particular way, he was creating a story. When he hummed certain tunes, he was expressing emotions he couldn't yet put into words. One morning, Maya was teaching Eli basic sign language when something unexpected happened. Eli began to create his own signs, combinations that made sense to him. Maya realized that he was developing his own unique language system. "He's not just learning," Maya told Preston that evening. "He's creating. He's finding his own way to communicate." Preston watched his son through the living room window. Eli was in the garden, carefully arranging stones in a spiral pattern. Is that normal?" "There's no normal," Maya said gently. "There's only Eli. And Eli is extraordinary." 6 months passed. Eli still wasn't speaking in full sentences, but he was communicating more. He had learned some basic sign language that Maya taught him. He could express when he was hungry, tired, or wanted to play. One day, Maya was making a sandwich for Eli in the kitchen. Eli was sitting next to her watching. "Maya," Eli said, a very quiet, very small voice, but a voice. Maya froze. "¿Qué dijiste, mi amor?" "Maya," Eli repeated, this time a little louder. Maya knelt down next to Eli. "Sí, soy Maya." Eli smiled. "Maya, amiga." Tears appeared in Maya's eyes. "Sí, pequeño, soy tu amiga." The breakthrough came 3 weeks later. Eli had been working on a particularly complex puzzle when he suddenly looked up at Maya and said, "Help me, please." Complete sentences, clear communication. Maya's heart soared. "Of course, mi amor. I'll always help you." That evening, when Preston came home, Maya was waiting for him with barely contained excitement. "Mr. Vale," she said. Eli spoke. Full sentences. Preston was surprised. What did he say?" "He asked for help. He said, 'Help me, please,' clear as day." Preston felt the ground shift under his feet. "Really?" "Yes. Listen." Maya called Eli. "Eli, ven aquí." Eli came running. He stood next to Maya. "Eli," Maya said. "Who is this?" Eli looked at Maya, then at Preston. "Papa," he said clearly. "My papa." Preston collapsed to the floor. His son had not only called him Papa, but had claimed him as his own. "Eli," Preston said, his voice trembling. "I love you so much, son." Eli approached Preston. "I love you too, Papa." And then he hugged him. Really hugged him. As Preston held his son, he looked at Maya. "I don't know how to thank you." Maya smiled. "You don't need to thank me. Eli is very special to me too." "Why?" "Because he reminds me of Diego." But at the same time, he shows me that life can give second chances. Preston stood up. Maya, I want to make you an offer. Sir? Finish nursing school. The expenses are on me. Then work here as a pediatric nurse. Not just for Eli, but to help children like this. Maya was surprised. This is a very generous offer. Not generosity, necessity. You brought Eli back. You can help other children too. Maya looked at Eli. The child was sitting next to her, drawing. Happy, calm, safe. I accept, Maya said. 2 years later, Maya finished nursing school with honors. A section of the Vale mansion was converted into a therapy center for children with special needs. Maya became the head nurse there, working with a team of therapists and specialists. The center, which they named Emma's Place in honor of Eli's mother, became a model for autism therapy programs across the country. Maya's approach, which combined traditional therapy with cultural sensitivity and personalized care, produced remarkable results. Eli was now speaking in full sentences, both English and Spanish. He was attending a special school designed for children with autism. He had made friends. He played games with his father every evening. But perhaps most importantly, Eli had learned to talk about his mother. He would show visitors Emma's photo and say, "This is my mama. She lives in my heart now." Maya helped me remember how to love. One day, Preston called Maya to his office. "Maya, there's something I want to tell you." "Sir? You didn't just change Eli's life. You changed mine too. I'm grateful to you. But more than that, I want to expand what we're doing here." Maya raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "I want to create a foundation, the Emma and Diego Foundation. We'll fund research into autism therapy, provide scholarships for nursing students who want to specialize in special needs care, and build more centers like this one." Maya felt tears in her eyes. "You would do that?" "With your help. I want you to be the director." Maya looked out the window. Eli was playing in the garden with 6 other children from the therapy center. All of them were laughing, communicating in their own unique ways, finding joy in their differences. "Yes," Maya said, "let's do it." Preston smiled. "You know, Emma would have loved you. I wish I could have met her." "You did," Preston said softly. "Every time you help Eli remember how to love, you meet her." That day, as Maya went home, she thought of Diego. "My brother," she whispered, "your spirit continues to live in Eli, and now it will live in all the children we help." And when the sun set, there was no longer silence in the Vale mansion. There was love, there was hope, and there was the voice of a child who had found his way back to the world, leading others to find theirs too. The foundation they built would go on to help thousands of children and families. But it all started with one simple truth. Sometimes the greatest healing comes not from expensive treatments or prestigious degrees, but from the simple act of seeing a child for who they truly are and loving them unconditionally. Maya had given Eli his voice back, but in return, he had given her something even more precious, the knowledge that love, patience, and understanding could work miracles that money never could.